Welcome to all of you after passing this small technical issue. I have now a challenge, I must say, because after such an enthusiastic presentation, it will be a challenge for me, even though I must say probably the two presentations almost complement each other, because the colleague just explained how should we do it. I'm going to do it to say how have we done it. So, and by the way, our company was not in your list, so probably for next time. We are just one of the biggest R&D centers in Portugal. So, okay. So, I was asked to speak a little bit about the Finnish way of international business. So, I would like first to guide you through the content of my presentation. So, I briefly will explain who we are, where did we come from, how are we handling R&D and innovation in Portugal. I think it's a best practice in terms of Portugal. How do we innovate in Portugal? Then a little bit of our culture, and finally also some things regarding corporate responsibility. So first of all, I would like to explain who we are. So besides calling us a Finnish company, because in fact we are consolidating Nokia company, we are also a part of German company. So usually we say we have two mothers, one coming from Finland, the other one coming from Germany, and we are Portuguese. So you might see this equation, it's not all the time very easy to handle, but we are having success with this. So around 2.5 years, I come from Siemens. I was previously also responsible for the Siemens in Portugal, the Research and Development Center. So, but Nokia Networks and Siemens Communications decided to get their operations together 2.5 years ago. At that time, we have published our vision. We said we believe in 2015 there will be in the market 5 billion people connected. We will have broadband all over the place. This is a must. We will get used to it, and I think, especially if you think we are Portuguese, if we get used to it, then we use it. That's some of the good things I think we also have as attitude in Portugal. And last but not least, most part of the applications will trigger and will come from internet. So the consolidation now it's past. We had a very nice integration period with some pains for each of the previous companies, but now we think we are one. We don't speak anymore about two different companies. Now we are one company. So I think we should be also very proud about this. And along my presentation, I will try also to give you an insight, because probably it's interesting for you. As being a Portuguese and being a flexible person, of course, what we are trying to do is really to try and get the best of the two worlds, so to say. So this company has, so that you have a kind of environment idea. So we are 60,000 people spread all over 150 countries. We have 600 communication service providers as our customers. These are just some figures. From these 60,000 people, around 16,000 people are R&D product related. So this is somehow over the 25%, so it's something between around 18%. And of course, we are the second largest telecommunications supplier. So I think this is a very good case. This development center, it was really initiated around 20 years ago, even though on the last 10 years it really had a very big push. I can also really look to what we have in Portugal and compare, because I've worked for some years in Germany also to really get into the business. So let us see. So from the point of view of Nokia Siemens Networks, we have development centers from all over the world. As the colleague previously was saying, of course, we have these important placeholders for markets, so China, India, but in Europe. And I think I like a lot this picture, because I mean Portugal is part of this constellation. So this is one of the biggest centers in Europe. And we were already before by Siemens, and it was a huge challenge, you might imagine, after consolidation and the merge of two companies, to continue. And the result was that we even reinforced our responsibilities. So very briefly, I would like to let you know what is this DC about, at least briefly. So this is what we call a kind of our identity card. So we are around 1,000 people, and these 1,000 people They mainly are located in Alfragide and in Aveiro, near the university. So around 180 in Aveiro and the rest here. If I would speak about NSN Portugal, I should put on top of this around 600 service engineers and sales force also. We have a young and innovative team. I think the average age should be something around 30 years old. I mean, so this is a good combination between fresh people coming from the universities on one side and on the other side, accumulating experience in telecom and IT. So I think we really are able to merge these two worlds, which sometimes, each time becomes more and more important. There is always a but from the point of view of number of women working in this. Sometimes people say, oh, you are the responsible, you give us a bad, we think that the percentage would be higher for women, but no, it's something like 16% are women and the rest are men, the rest, okay? So, we always had quite a lot of concerns about being different among the other DCs, because if you really want to survive and want to be on the map as we are now, again, we really have to be better probably than the other ones, because you look to Portugal, you see lots of disadvantages. Because people think, okay, the level of costs, it's very high, probably the engineers are not so good. We Portuguese help wrongly on that, because we have huge expectations from our colleagues from other countries, which I don't understand where the sense of minority comes from, because we have very good universities, we have very well-trained people, and so it's something for me which is still not explainable. I could not understand why are we still and continuously waiting for big expectations from foreign people. In fact, then we are frustrated. So we have two problems. First, we think we are not good, and then we get frustrated. So, I mean, that's for sure something we should really try to change. And in this context, we always try to have innovative products, make prototypes, proactively propose things to let's say, to our previous mother company. And I will go in detail to this innovation issue, because I think this was quite an important one, and it was really a differentiating point. Even though I must say innovation is not something which comes for free, innovation is not something which comes automatic, innovation takes a lot of work. So, but I will come to that afterwards. So we have partnerships with the top universities, also in Portugal. We have an industry program to really have PhDs being done in our premises and in our projects and in our programs. Of course, the proximity with the customer is something which is very important. So having in Portugal something like 600 service engineers bring us really a lot of know-how and a lot of insight from customer pains and these kind of things. And, okay, so many other issues I could talk about, but very, very shortly. We have also partnerships naturally with Cotec, with IT, with APDC. In fact, I'm a member of the board of APDC also. And we have also close cooperations. And, of course, some of the products that NSNS are really developed in Portugal. So we develop for all the world. Of course, we also develop some things tailored to the needed size to Portugal. Not to underestimate that, but mainly I would say 95% we work for the world market. So we have high investment on the applied innovation. We always distinguish between two types of innovation, the applied innovation and the fundamental research innovation. So the applied innovation is something we are creating value today. The fundamental research innovation is something where we are shaping the future from our point of view. So we have three very high labs. If someone is interested to visit, you will have at the end my email. Many people visited us already, but if someone has interest, just contact me. Drop me an email, and I will. Sometimes I don't have so much time to talk, but I always read my emails. So, okay. So mainly three very important labs: multimedia lab, optical networks, and network management lab. As I said, fundamental research is shaping the future, and we have very good examples of this. For time reasons, I will not go in detail. But in fact, we have done several things in terms and in context of research, of fundamental research. But it's not only important that we do it. It's important that we do two other things. That we protect what we have achieved and what we have researched, and that we also disseminate the knowledge. So We have here some examples. We are participating very proactively in the standardization forums. We also have published more than 200 international scientific publications in the last 2 years. And we have submitted several, almost 200 invention reports for approval. So, how to innovate? It's something which really it takes effort. So, we can innovate from product improvements that from let's say from the complaints we receive from the customers. We always take this as a possibility for improvement, not as, oh my God, I have an error. No, no, let us see. Probably it's not an error. It could be just a request for improvement for the future and also to enhance our products. We also initiate sometimes what we call the target innovation workshops, where we put people with a certain subject, with a certain expertise for 1-2 days, and they came up with ideas. Usually we have always at least 2 or 3 ideas at the end, which will be followed up, which in my opinion from 30 or 40, that's good. Then if we keep on with 3. Knowledge networks, this was something which was also mentioned in the last presentation. I think this is crucial for us. We cannot be alone. Alone we are zero, so to say. So we have to be together, international and nationally. So this is the message I would like to give with this. And last but not least again, this takes effort. This takes methodology. This takes processes. We have also naturally the certification, innovation certification by the Portuguese norm. In fact, we supported the elaboration of the Portuguese norm, or I mean at least all the environment to create the Portuguese norm. We achieved this in 2007, and now each year, of course, we will have it again, the renewal on follow-up in November. But I mean, really, I think this is a message which people sometimes say, oh, they innovated. It's like if it was a miracle. It's not a miracle. It costs work. And you have really to allocate resources for that. But I trust it's possible to be done. And of course, we think creativity is needed, but also lots of persistency, lots of refinement in the solutions, and so on. So, regarding our culture, in the new company, we have much more flatter hierarchies than we used to have by the previous companies, and that compared also with what is used in Portugal. So it's much more flat, and people like a lot to network. There is not this thing that this is the boss, I can only talk to the boss. No, no, no. It's like if it was a track record with how many people you talk per day. It's like a tracking record, because networking is a must in this company. Even though, I must say, I worked in Germany, and in Germany they told me, Leonor, if you need to speak with a colleague, even if he sits 2 desks from you, you just pick up your phone and call them. This was good in my working life, because I got used to call then afterwards anyone in any part of the world. But I mean, this is not probably the best way to work, so I like a lot much more this Finnish way of working, that we really almost measure our performance in the number of networks we have and we explore. So the engineer skills, I think we are fit with all the rest of the world, so we are not poor Portuguese people. So please get rid of that, because this makes no sense. And this did not impact so much in the past, but it's also an open culture to have open spaces and offices. So if I would like to have summarized, then we have equal education levels. In this company, it's also quite important to work-life balance. Of course, with all our means we have currently in IT area, this is something, I mean, I can stop at a certain hour, take care, go have dinner with my family, my daughter, my family, and so on, and afterwards continue working, because we work a lot. If people think we don't work, we work a lot. So I think, and by the way, the Portuguese really start working in some cases very late in the morning. I think this is a big disadvantage for us. I don't know where this comes from, but I mean, I was, for instance, in England, I mean, 2 or 3 months ago. If we go to the theater, we go at 7:30. Here, I cannot do this. I mean, I have to wait 9:30, and then if I want to be in the office tomorrow, in the following day, at 7 or 8 o'clock, then either we don't sleep or, I mean, I think we should change also some things in Portugal in this sense. Okay, so finally, because time is running, I'd like to let you know that we have quite concerns about environmental issues and sustainability. So, and as an example, currently 90% of our radio-based stations are already recyclable. So, in summary, I think it's possible to have in Portugal call it Silicon Valley or call it Lisboa or whatever. It's possible. We think we are not using it properly. If we would have 10 companies doing this, we would not have engineers. That's a bottleneck, which I felt also quite strongly in the past. We did not grow more because we did not have enough engineers, which is currently, because of the crisis situation, not so critical, but it was a point which Portugal should really consider. And I think probably we should invest much more in doing than in thinking we are not able, we cannot do it. Because it's possible in Portugal to have an IT cluster, it's possible in Portugal to have very high competencies, and just do it. I mean, it's possible. Thank you.
Any questions?
Gostava de perguntar o seguinte: na gênese, no início, como é que se conseguiu atrair este centro para cá?
É assim, historicamente, há 20 e tal anos atrás, isto foi, digamos, um acordo que se fez para criar competência em Portugal, para se trazer valor para Portugal. Rapidamente esse tema ficou ultrapassado, porque ao fim de 2 anos esse acordo estava acabado. Isto começou com a digitalização da rede, onde a Alcatel e a Siemens, nessa altura, e nessa altura havia uma firma chamada Empetel, que foi a gênese de tudo isto. Portanto, os 2 primeiros anos foram um commitment que houve, do ponto de vista de criar valor em Portugal, mas a partir daí foi, de facto, termos mostrado que os nossos engenheiros eram bons e que eram capazes de fazer melhor do que os outros. Porque aquela nossa capacidade que nós temos de adaptar, eu costumo dizer que é assim, um engenheiro português, quando lhe dá uma coisa qualquer para fazer, olha para aquilo que lhe deram para fazer e diz assim, mas caralho, porque eles fizeram isto assim? Eu fazia isto muito melhor. Primeiro ponto. E, portanto, perdemos algum tempo naquela fase. Agora, passados uns tempos, se houver um problema no campo, se for um alemão, para, reporta, envia. Se for um português, senta e tenta resolver. Faz uns scripts, faz whatever seja medido. Portanto, competência. A resposta é competência. Persistência, saber acreditar, esse tipo de coisas.
Também tinha uma questão. Seguindo ali um pouco o paralelismo da apresentação feita hoje de manhã pelo professor Francisco Veloso, tem receio que haja spillovers, pessoas da Nokia Siemens que saiam da empresa para criar as suas próprias empresas, para criar as suas próprias...
Olha, vou-lhe dar isso como uma resposta com um caso muito concreto. O João Carreira, da Critical, foi meu colaborador, saiu para fazer isso. Não tenho nenhum medo disso e gostava até que saíssem muitos.